Hello, my name is Adam Jackson, and this is my career PowerPoint on Radiologic Technologist. This is what I'm currently pursuing in college right now, and I definitely find this field to be interesting. And so, hopefully, as we go through this PowerPoint I made, you'll find it to be just as interesting as I do. To start off with, the job outlook is probably one of the more positive things about this job. The employment is to grow 21% from 2012 to 2022. So that's actually faster than the average for all occupations. Also, one of the other main benefits is that the medical field, that's constantly growing and it's something that's always going to be needed. So I felt that was really important too because, job security and the economy can be a big concern for a majority of people. So that's something that really just kind of gets dismissed right off the bat. And I felt also that, I could travel anywhere across the United States or go, even internationally, to Europe and still have a great chance of finding a job because, this is something that's just really everywhere. Now, when it comes to what they actually do, a lot of people, when they hear the term radiologic technician or x-ray technician, they think that it's someone who usually just uses an x-ray machine and takes pictures of an injured patient or, someone that has a ailment of some sort. But it's actually a lot more than what people realize. But actually, the radiologic technologist has to do a lot of safety measures to prevent any kind of like radiation poisoning or anything that could be hazardous when it comes to working with the radiation. So they often have to wear like lead suits and they also have to make sure the patient is going to be safe too. So they usually have precautions they have to take and like with the MRI technician, they'll usually have to spend at least 2 to 3 hours with a patient to ensure that they're going to be okay and that they're comfortable and that they're ready for the whole procedure. And also, they have to work with the physician. And this is something that it's more kind of up to the physician as to the diagnosis, but the radiologic technician offers their insight and their idea. But in the end, comes down to the physician because when it actually comes down to it, the physician is the one who's licensed for that aspect. And from what I have found out, it's actually not allowed for the radiologic technologist to tell the patient the diagnosis, even if they're like absolutely sure like their leg is broken or whatever they may find. So just to give a quick overview of the whole process in itself, the technologist completes a scan on the patient and then they go and review that, and after they really get an idea of what they think might be wrong, that's where the physician comes in and they have the final say so as to what the diagnosis will be. And then after that, that's when the results are then taken to the patient. And that way, it'll still be the physician's word, whether it's the technologist or the physician presenting the information to the patient. Now, for the work environment, it's actually a little bit selective. You can actually choose as to where you're going to work, but these two here, that it can either be a hospital or a doctor's clinic. These are the two most common ones, so I thought these would be a good representation for the work environment. So, for the hospital environment, this workplace can have a more unpredictable schedule, such as being on call throughout the week or having to work like 12-hour shifts. And usually these will be shifts that where like you're on your feet, the whole time, and it's more of like a fast paced. Also, like how it says being on call, it could be something where the person has certain hours where they have to have their phone by them to be ready to be called in at any time. And as for the clinical environment, this is a more scheduled environment. This place would have like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You would be able to request for days off, have a more schedule that you know who you're going to be seeing, how many patients will be coming in that day, or, if you need to reschedule things and move stuff around. As for the radiologic technologist salary, starting out, the average salary can start at 37,000, which, it's pretty good for a novice entry position. But with further experience and also developing yourself with further certifications, like how I mentioned before, with like the MRI scans, or you can do the CT scans, that'll really give you a more broad range as to your salary. And it also opens up more opportunities for you, which, you can reach up to 77,000 annually or even further. It really just depends. As for the educational requirements, an associate's in science is a requirement for this career. After graduation, the Florida licensure is needed before a technician can actually practice in their field. But from what I've seen, it's really starting out. All you need is just a associate's degree to get into the radiologic technician licensing, which through that course, they actually have you do clinical rotation and you get hands-on experience working in the hospitals. But the thing is not every school offers that. So you really have to kind of do your research and make sure that the school you're going to will be able to help you further develop or at least transition into another school that offers this. And here are just a few fun facts that I found about the radiologic technologist that thought would be interesting and have a little bit of entertainment here for the PowerPoint. One of the interesting things I found, which is like the number one, because I thought this one was pretty cool, was that actually in 1979, the technology was turned towards larger targets when NASA used X-ray technology to take amazing images of outer space, which I thought that was pretty cool because they had the ingenuity to try that into outer space instead of thinking on such a small scale of taking a photo of someone that's just a mere, few inches from the lens. For number two, this is something that's kind of more of a personal reflection that, I found to be interesting myself. But even though technologists may have the same work environment, they're practically guaranteed new and interesting stories from patients. Because I feel like even though this would be a regular, day-to-day job, no matter how many times you do this, whether it's your first year or you're 20 years into the job now, you're always going to have something new to bring home that you've heard as a story or something that really just was like crazy you couldn't believe happened. My number three, this was another interesting one, also having to do with photography. It said that a camera that uses X-ray technology was revealed to have an unprecedented speed of 4.5 million frames per second. And so, to put that into perspective, HD pictures actually capture 24 frames per second. And so you've seen with, like the HD TVs, how the picture quality just looks really amazing. Just imagine how a 4.5 million frame per second would look. For me, I use this picture here as a representation because you actually see all the little details of this bullet, going through this apple. And this is all in a matter of seconds. And even this is just, barely giving an idea of what 4.5 million frames per second would be. My PowerPoint presentation. Thank you for your time and hope you enjoyed it.